Hi everyone, I am Marisela Gonzalez, and the artist that I chose was Pablo Picasso. So, Pablo Picasso was born in October 25th, 1881 in Malaga, Spain, and died on April 8th, 1973 at Mougins, France at the age of 90. Most of his life he spent in France. Picasso was an innovative artist who experimented and worked with all types of art. Not only was he a master painter, but also a printmaker, a sculptor, an etching artist, a writer, and ceramics artist. Throughout Picasso's life, he lived through 2 world wars. Even though he didn't fight in any, he did struggle in the influence the art caused his life and art. Picasso started at a very young age thanks to his father José Ruiz y Blasco, who was a Spanish painter and an art teacher who eventually taught Pablo Picasso and helped him reach his artistic career. In 1995, Picasso and his family moved to Barcelona, where Picasso studied art and started his artistic development. Picasso went through many art movements, although he personally created various ones. The most famous one was Cubism, an artistic movement that was created by him and George Braque and others who formed part of it from 1907 to 1917. Cubism was pretty much cubes and other geometrical shapes that stood out in the artwork of the 2 artists. Just as the image on the left, as you can see, he wanted to develop a way of seeing a reflection of the modern age, along with emphasizing the difference between a painting and reality, and Cubism was his supporter. Picasso mainly belonged and started different periods. For example, these mentioned below: the blue, rose, African influence, analytic cubism, synthetic cubism, neoclassicism, and surrealism. The blue period was mainly a representation of blindness, poverty, and the female nude. The rose period was Picasso's art with shades of pink and rose, which were a presentation of Picasso's experimentation with these colors. The African influence reflected inspiration in the African art he viewed at an exhibit. The analytic cubism, which was mentioned before, which he worked along with his fellow painter George Braque. The synthetic cubism was pretty much the analytic cubism, only with an addition of collagen to his creations. At last, the neoclassicism and surrealism. The surrealism was a type of work he did that added abnormalities to the human body to society view. This would be unattractive or chaotic at times. Neoclassicism was an inspiration that Picasso gained on his first trip to Italy, where he gained the naturalism in Italian Renaissance paintings. Throughout all of Picasso's art periods, which were 5 known as the blue period, the rose, the African influence period, analytic cubism, and synthetic cubism, he was credited with loads of work created, which were over 50,000 plus 1,228 sculptures and 1,885 paintings. Picasso was known for using a variety of elements and tools for his paintings, but he did tend to use a muted color palette, geometric shapes, oils, collages, along with other elements. Symbolism overall was the major function that Picasso would add to his paintings. Throughout Picasso's life and paintings created, there were various critics that began to appear, both positive and negative, but the negative ones increased over time, mainly when it came to the surrealism period, in which he added abnormalities to his drawings and the human bodies, causing comments like diseased nerves, odd, schizophrenia, and even satanic. I understand where these comments come from and overall why they would see his paintings as odd or weird, but overall I think every artist has to go over their imagination and come up with something different instead of creating paintings similar to the rest that would just be considered boring. And what Pablo Picasso did was create something that, even though he was criticized or doubted, it received a lot of attention and views, in which either way created him one of the greatest artists of the 20th century. And overall, that was my presentation. Thank you.